Alright, lesson 4. Fundamentals of automatic transmissions. Alright, learning of the describe the operation drive train mechanism of the automatic transmission. Description of the automatic transmission, like the manual transmission, match the load according to the vehicle, the power, speed, range of the engine. This is not automatically depending on the throttle position, vehicle speed, but the position with the shifting control over the automatic transmission are built with a mode that have 2, 3, or 4 speed forward speeds, and summers are equipped with the overdrive. The operator controls limited to the selection of the rear range of the moving of the control lever. Coupling the automatic transmission is coupled to the engine throughout the torque converter with the torque with the converter use the automatic transmission manually. Because it does not have the manually disengage the operator each time the vehicle stops. To cover the automatic transmission, shift it without any of the interruption of the engine torque. Applicate for the cushion the effect with the fluid coupling with the torque converter with as is desired. Shifting we cover the automatic transmission with the shifting of the independent lever that must do without with the operator relief of the throttle of the planetary gear set with the element of locking with the relief of the various combination produce the required forward with the reverse gear ratio with the locking with the planetary gear set element of the done with the hydraulically actuated multiple discs clutch of the brake band with the high pressure for the actuated least locking device for the control by the valve body. Think of the valve body. Hydraulic computer of the receive the signal indicated the vehicle speed, throttle position, gear shifter, lever the position based on the information the valve of the body sends for the hydraulic pressure for the correct locking device to produce the required gear ratio. Operator control for the only operator control for the automatic transmission of the gear shifter through the accelerator pedal. They also consider the operator control for the cover the fork for the transmission to shift to have a lower ratio with the veer is fully depressed. Driving train mechanism, multiple disc clutch. The multiple disc clutch is indicated the U of the transmission, torque with the locking element with the planetary gear sets, and rotating member of the transmission. In some case, with the multiple disc of the clutch, but also with the U of the locking planetary gear set element with the transmission. In the case of the axis of reactionary member. Construction. The multiple disc clutch is compromised with the following component of the disc plate with the active component of the multiple disc clutch with the disc plate. The discs are made of the steel and force and friction material that usually have the teeth cut and the inner circumference of the positively key them to clutch hub. These plates are made of the steel with no facing usually have the teeth cut into their outer circumference, the most likely positive the key inside of the clutch drum and the inside of the clutch transmission case by the alternative stacking of the disc and plate. They are locked together and released by simple squeezing them. Clutch drum and hub. The clutch drum and hub hold static of the disc and plate with the usually attached with the planetary gear set element of the being driven in with the clutch hub usually attaches the driving member that fits inside of the clutch disc and plays the pressure plate with the thick clutch plate with the plate for the other end of the stack with the purpose for the distribute the application pressure equally on the surface of the clutch disc and plates clutch piston. The clutch piston acts usually hydraulic pressure where they apply with the clutch and the hydraulic pressure usually supply with the clutch and piston center of the rotating member. Clutch piston seal. The clutch piston seal serves to prevent the leakage of the hydraulic pressure around the inner and outer circumference of the clutch piston. Clutch rings of the clutch springs are ensured for the rapid relief of the clutch and the hydraulic pressure for the clutch of the piston is released. The clutch springs may be in form of the several coil with the springs equally spaced around with the piston or large coil spring with the forward center with the clutch drum with some of the models of the diaphragm type Belleville clutch spring. Operation. Now let's discover the operation multiple the disc clutch. The clutch is relieved. There is no hydraulic pressure for the clutch piston with the clutch of the disc and plate with the rotate with each other. The result of the clutch with the the rotate really does not drive with the clutch. Clutch is applied with the hydraulic pressure applied with the clutch piston within the term of the applied with the pressure for the clutch disc and plate with the causing them to lock together. As a result, the clutch hub to drive with the clutch drum through the clutch. Brake band. The brake band is used with the planetary gear set element with the transmission cable. The element can attack with a reactionary. Remember the brake band with the compromise with the following components of the band. The brake band circular piece with the spring steel with the rectangular cross section with the inside with the circumference line with the friction material with the brake band head with the bosses on each of them that can be held with compromise with the drum fits inside of the band and attached with the planetary gear set element that may be locked by the band with the outer circumference of the machine. Smoothly interact with the friction surface of the band by pulling open end of the band together. Rotation of the drum stop with the anchor firmly attached with the one end of the brake band to the transmission cable. The provision adjusting the clearance between the band and drum usually provided on the anchor. Servo. The servo also hydraulic pressure squeeze with the band around with the drum. The servo piston is active on the hydraulic pressure for the valve body through fed into the internal passage through the cave of the servo piston seal around with the preventing leak of the hydraulic pressure spring load to allow the quick release of the band. Some servos are hydraulic pressure for the both sides of these pistons over the hydraulic pressure both the release and application of the band. Operation. When the brake band is relieved, there is no hydraulic pressure applied with the servo. The drum is free with the rotate within the band. The brake band is applied with the hydraulic pressure applied with the servo. The servo over the turn tight with the band with the round with the drum. The action results in drum being locked in stationary position causing an output change for the planetary gear set. Overrunning one-way clutch. The overrunning clutch is used with the concern of the automatic transmission like the planetary gear set element with the transmission case. So the X, the reactionary member operation overrunning clutch is used the same with the one-speed, one used in the torque converter that can be with the spragger or the roller type. There is no control system necessary for this mechanism. Learning event 2. Describe the drivetrain with the arrangement with the automatic transmission. Automatic transmissions are built with 2 or 3 or 4 speed, but therefore there are many variations of the drivetrain arrangement. The following paragraph is describing the 2 more popular arrangement of the compound planetary driving train and Simpson drivetrain. This shows the typical 2 automatic transmission using compound planetary gear. Planetary drive system. Shows the turbine stationary element with the stator roller clutch, converter pump with the shaft support input shaft with the oil pump assembly at the low band, the forward clutch, the reverse ring, first clutch, inner spilling gear, governor driven gear with the output shaft with the speedometer driving gear with the speedometer driving gear with the governor driven gear with the governor assembly, the tent and solid case connector, low band adjusting screw manual shaft, long planet pinion, long low sun gear, short planet pinion. Yeah, in a little bit.
No, he wants you to go now. He needs you to get him some beer and pack cigarettes.
Alright.
You can use my card.
0747.
0747.
The arrangement combined with the 2 multiple additional clutch, 1 brake band with the compound planetary gear with the compound planetary gear set with the rear lead, 2 with the gear with the integrated gear with the long with the short pinions, because of the compactness with the unit with the super speed with the with the 2-speed drivetrain with the 2 separate planetary gear set with the lesson 4 learning event 2, the compound operation of the compound planetary drivetrain with the 2 4-speed reverse neutral and the power flow with the differential rear ranges as follows. Alright, figure 14 power flow, neutral, stator roller clutch, turbine pump, input shaft, stator shaft, low band, off, forward clutch off, the reverse ring, low sun gear, short pinion, reverse clutch off, planetary carrier, input shaft gear, long pinion, and output shaft. Alright, neutral, when the gear shift lever is played for the neutral, the clutch of the brake band, with the release of the couple, there is no reactionary brimmer over the planetary gear set to provide the pod for the drive, but therefore no torque of the transmit with the output shift with the planetary gear set element for the free with the spin around the axis. Low, when the gear shift has been played for the direction of the reverse clutch with the relief of the low brake band with the plow with the locking with the low sun gear with the power flow through the drivetrain with the flow with the input shaft with the sun gear with the low planetary pinion with the front of the long planetary pinion with the short planetary pinion to lock with the sun gear with the provide with the reaction with the point with the planetary pinion with the care with the come walk around with the rotating the output shaft with the result of the speed reduction ratio from the input shaft to the output shaft with the 1.8 to 1 with the low gear with the power flow with the gear shift with the lever with the drive position before the vehicle attains sufficient speed with the transmission shift directly in drive. Figure 15 shows the power flow direct with the low band off with the reverse clutch on and the forward clutch off. Or your direct drive with the gear shift, air lever plate for the drive with the position low gear with the vehicle with the each of the speed sufficiently without the transmission automatic shift to the direct drive with the shift to the direct drive, the relief of the low brake band with the plow with the direct clutch for the locking the low sun gear with the input shaft with the reverse clutch for the remains of the release power flow through the drive of the train flow with the input shaft on gear with the long planetary pinion with the long planetary pinion with the short planetary pinion with the cover of the input and low sun gear with the bolt with the locked and planetary pinions the lock with the unit able to rotate with the force of the planetary carrier attached output shaft with the rotate 1-to-1 ratio with the input shaft. Figure 16 shows the power flow and reverse low band off the reverse clutch off the power forward clutch on. Reversible gear shift to the level of the plate for the reverse low brake band with the direct clutch with the relief of the reverse clutch with the plow with the locking with the internal gear with the planetary gear set with the plow power flow through the driven train with the also flow with the input sun gear with the low planetary pinion with the long planetary pinion with the short with the planetary pinion with the short planetary pinion to walk around with the inside with the locked internal gear, the rotating with the planetary gear with the attached with the output shaft with the opposite with the direction input shaft with the speed with the reduction ratio with the input to the output shaft with approximately 1.8 to 1. The Simpson drivetrain. And then we're going to cut the tape there.